Attention everybody, the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Good morning! Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Steve will be here shortly. Isn't that exciting, Jay?
What?
I don't know. Steve's going to be here today. Got my coffee up here. Coffee on the table. Coffee everywhere! All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And we're glad to have everybody on board with us today. So, today's topic, Think Positive, Part 2. I only say that because we've already done this Think Positive once. You know, I'm not trying to think positive. I think today should be a positive day.
I think so, too.
You know, you started out with Just the Facts, which is a pretty heavy show. 30 minutes of forcing yourself to be non-biased while reporting the facts between Trump versus Biden, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to be non-biased.
It's hard to be non-biased, and it's hard to know what facts really are.
Right, because unfortunately, a lot of the news that we read out there is wrong.
Well, we're not talking about facts anyway. We're talking about principles. If you read through their platforms, it's principles and ideals.
Yeah.
So the principles and ideals are what creates the balance, but it's also what creates the struggle.
Yeah.
And it's important to have that. My biggest concern is the changing of the Constitution.
Yeah. Good morning, Audrey Snyder, Larry Milton. Yeah, because it sounds like they're trying to.
Well,
like they are succeeding at it.
there are people who believe it's outdated, that it needs to change. I don't agree.
That's true, Larry. Larry says you don't want to test positive. You want to think positive.
I think we're getting closer to the place where we were when it was first instituted and necessary.
All right. So I wonder why this isn't letting me share. Oh, there we go. It wasn't letting me share to my story.
But thinking positive when
Morning,
it comes
Susan.
to politics, really, the best you can do is, number one, you should vote. You really should.
Yeah.
And when it comes to politics, all of this is complicated and can be very confusing. The most important thing, I think, though, is what do you know is right? You know, what's right and what's wrong?
So we got to have a positive outlook on this.
Yeah, because people think that what's wrong is right nowadays and what's right is wrong.
What's
And
up
that's
is
kinda
down.
confusing.
What's black is white. What's up is down. What's hot is cold.
Yeah. The best I can do is believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Amen
and
to
that
that.
He is my Savior. He took the punishment for my sins. He taught us how to live. And He taught us how to have the best effect in the world around us.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of politics and economics and all of those things, you know, we've got to do the best that we can for ourselves and our fellow human beings and
Yeah.
our families. You know, it's important to do the best that you can for the people around you, and that if you think that you don't make a difference, you know, that's a sad idea because you do.
Well, there's a lot of stress out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are suffering emotionally and mentally that want to just give up on life.
Yeah.
And there's so much to live for, even when you feel like there's nothing to live for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got this guy coming in who's got all kinds of things going wrong with him, and he still manages to come in here and smile every day.
I know I'm smiling.
I can see it on your cheeks.
We don't need to.
We just know.
We've got experience with you.
Yeah, I guess you know me too well, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah.
Please do.
I
Is
got
it-
you unmuted. There you go. So we got Rachel sitting in with us. This is Mrs. O'Mickey Mac.
Hi there.
Hi, guys.
I am surprised at how much. I mean, if you go out looking for negativity on the internet, you're definitely going to find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You type one word into Google, and you're going to get a bunch of negative stuff. But you can also find positive stuff,
Yeah.
like funny dad jokes.
Yeah.
I don't have those pulled up yet, but I will
Oh.
before the show's over with.
Oh.
Funny
We're
dad
still
jokes.
getting them.
You know, look at the positive things that are going on. I mean, is there any good news going on out there?
Only what I see right in front of me. It's mostly good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on where you're at, what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the news or politics because that's a whole different realm.
Right,
there.
but that's media. right.
media. But as far as internet, there's a lot of positive. You just have to look for it.
Right. But I'm talking about my actual physical life. If I turned this off
Right.
and just looked at what's in front of me and what's around me, most in general, though so we could say it right here. We've had some very, very rude people be very unkind,
Yes.
but the majority of everybody that we encounter here are kind, friendly,
Yeah.
good, generous people
Yeah.
who feel personally that having a good effect on the person they've encountered for however short a time is their intention. Their intention when they leave their house in the morning is that whatever encounter they have with whatever other human being is a positive one.
Right.
And then sometimes people get into a place where they might be negative, but that's because they have some personal issue going on that's weighing heavy on them. They haven't worked out a solution for themselves right then, and they're a little bit oppressed by that, and so their attitude or their mood might not be so great. But they also try not to let it spill over onto everybody, as hard as that can be. You know what I mean? You get to where you've got something getting you down, it's hard to smile so much. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean you don't want the person next to you to smile either.
Right.
We encounter in the elevator here probably 20, 30 people a day. We
Yeah,
have
at
maybe
least.
one or two bad encounters a month with rude people
Yeah.
who are just literally just rude and unkind.
I had one the other day.
Just like what happened with Jaden and Jody with the dogs. That was unkind. That was
Yeah.
that was uncalled for. Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they got it straightened out. I think, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. They did. It was taken care of.
So what do you think of that, though? Why is it that media portrays such a different thing? Have you, when you're out in public and not media, not any of this, but your actual physical interaction in society, when you're out everywhere, when you're out just going around your day,
Right.
and you're encountering people in the flesh,
Right.
what is your general experience? What would you say? How would you sum that experience up?
For me, I think that people are trying to be kind, but it's really hard. Specifically, it's hard for people to really be happy because of what's been going on, and you can usually see it in their body language. But for the most part, I still see people smiling and laughing and that. So, as far as being kind to me, I've had no problem.
People
Yeah.
are pretty kind.
Yeah.
People want something better, I think,
You
They
know.
do. They
Yeah.
do.
than what they're seeing on media.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people are just. I mean, at my job.
Yeah. You deal with the public, right?
I do definitely deal with the public all the time.
And what
Yeah.
is your job?
Unfortunately,
That's exactly what I kind of
I did that on purpose.
I merchandise. Well, that's my official job, but lately I've been working like cashiering, kind of. You know, I've worked definitely with the public. Yeah, that's kind of put it mildly. I mean, generally people are they've been pretty nice. Just every so often, folks they're really needy. They really want to be.
That's a good way to put it.
They want they
Like
want
yesterday.
things their
I'm
way.
inviting all my friends to this.
Yeah, they want
video.
things their way a lot.
Just like yesterday.
So yeah, like yesterday.
Rose
So-
Peterman, welcome back.
So yeah.
It's I've worked in the customer service industry before, and people are super needy sometimes. Actually, I mean that's why they're calling you, is because they need something.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's like over and beyond. So I've had folks do that.
That's where I got that phrase. That guy from Wisconsin that was like, "Oh well, that sure beats a sharp stick in the eye there, I tell you what." Because this gentleman had been through 2 or 3 different people and couldn't get the problem solved, and I was able to, at great expense of my time, was to get it figured out, and couldn't refund everything, but was able to give him a portion, a sizable portion back. And he goes, well, that sure beats a sharp stick in the eye in there, I tell you. And ever since then, that's a way to look at it positive. It does beat a sharp stick in the eye. That just look at
telling
it.
you.
If you get a little bit of what you need, that sure does beat a sharp stick in the eye.
Yeah, but you got a little give. Be happy about it. Just be grateful for it. A lot of people are just like,
Don't worry.
I don't want that. It's got to be my way the whole
happy.
time, or I'm just not. I'll just, talk to your manager. I want to speak to someone right now. I want what I
What's
want.
really funny is when
Yeah.
you're the manager and they ask to speak to the manager, and you say, "Oh, I am the manager."
What?
Yeah.
You get that what look? What?
Wait a minute. You're supposed to be on my side here.
Right.
Like, no,
Wait a minute.
actually,
What
you
happened to
can't
the
talk to my
manager
employees
agreeing with
that
the
way.
customer?
I remember the first time a customer was really mean to me, and I worked at a very popular, very well-known fast food restaurant. And me being a super sensitive guy, I was more sensitive then. And it was this elderly gentleman, and I asked him, I misunderstood him, and I said, "Did you say mm-hmm? Well, no, beep, beep, beep. I didn't say beep, 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 beep. I didn't want it, beep, beep, beep. I want it." And my boss saw that my lip was quivering, and I was like, I didn't know. I'd never had anybody treat me like that before. I mean, besides Uncle Billy trying to shove pizza crust down my throat. But that's another story for another day.
Wow.
Well, it's actually a pretty funny story. I deserved it because of my attitude.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
Well, we grew up in a different time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Different attitudes, different
Jackie Milton.
outcomes from different times.
You know, okay, so Jay's mom, my auntie, she is a stickler about eating the crust on the pizza.
Yeah.
You do not waste food.
Yeah.
You
Morning,
eat the
Troy.
pizza and the crust. And we had pizza up at Dad's shop, and Uncle Billy said, and he saw me getting ready to throw the pizza crust in the trash. And I'm pretty sure he had heard it from Auntie Dale numerous times about the crust. There's a reason why they all are like that, because, you know, I'm pretty back then, Grandma was taking care of all the kids and stuff, and, you know, you don't waste anything.
Right.
But he goes, "I'm going to tell your Auntie Dale if you don't eat that crust." We had already been bickering. I threw it in the trash right in front of him. I said, "Tell Auntie Dale." I turned around and walked away. Didn't make it very far until he had me pinned over backwards onto the hood of a car, shoving that pizza crust that I had thrown in the trash back in my mouth.
Oh.
Good deal.
So,
Wow.
it was shop trash. It wasn't anything gross. It was just, you know, oil and, you know, chemicals and stuff.
Oils and chemicals and pizza crust.
Yeah.
Oh, my. See, you shouldn't have thrown it in the trash. It would have tasted better.
Sounds
gonna
like European food. Sorry, just kidding. Just joking. If you're from Europe, we love you. We're just kidding. You know,
How How did I know that was coming?
They put vinegar on everything out there in certain countries in Europe, and
Good morning, Nancy Gorecki.
Megan Applegate, welcome to the party.
John. I almost said Johnny Appleseed. I don't know why.
Johnny Appleseed, that's a pretty famous guy, man.
Yeah,
our ratings
well,
are going up there.
Johnny, sorry, buddy.
Think
Johnny
Positive
Brewster.
Part 2. That's the title of today's show. You can always find who?
Nick Deliva. He's the guy I was telling you that portrays
Nicodemus.
Zacchaeus.
Or, yeah,
He's
Oh,
he's
so
got
he's
the-
short. You're
Yeah,
saying the
yeah.
guy's short.
Yeah, but he's going to be coming on the show.
I still
soon.
say that could have been talking about Jesus too, being short. I mean,
Yeah, but Nick, you're welcome to come on the show anytime. I know they've been they were out in Maine and Vermont, and him and his wife, they were out vacationing, but you're welcome to come on the show, Nick, anytime, like in November.
I'm
October's-
half asleep, so I apologize.
And I got a return guest coming on today, so
who's your return guest?
Austin and Jessica.
Oh, the ones with the baby.
yes,
Is the baby coming too?
yes.
All right. Good.
I made sure that everybody came.
Yeah, that's fine. And mom's coming to hold the baby when the baby gets upset, like last time.
I assume so. They didn't. They
If
didn't
not,
say
I mean,
that.
I think we got that. It's called nap time.
Is he going to have music again?
I don't know. I assume so. He didn't say. No, he's going to be talking about when he was in the occult, because my whole
I was
theme,
going to say, yeah. I mean, if he's got music he wants to do, he has to let us know like ahead of time.
Yeah, no. He's going to be talking about the occult today. My whole theme is on spiritual warfare and the occult, and because of October and Halloween, and
Yeah.
Jackie says that'll learn you. I think she's talking about the pizza crust
Yeah.
ordeal. That's the pizza crust ordeal of 1992.
Yeah.
wow, how'd that
It's a big deal,
Yeah.
So
I mean, we had to eat. We had 5 in our house. My father was the only one that worked.
yeah.
So, I mean, we had to eat everything that was put on the plate.
Yeah,
And-
that and I mean, Grandma, she had
And
all
even
the
then,
other
we were
kids to take care of.
fortunate enough to not really know hunger.
There's nothing wrong with being short, there, little fella. That's Steve Schultz.
No, there isn't.
They call him Shorty everywhere he goes. That's his nickname, Shorty.
Yeah.
And it's not an ironic name either. It's like a literal. He's a pretty short guy. You're what, 5'5", 5'4", 5'5"?
Text who texted you your number?
Nick is 4'9".
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
John wants me to text him your number. I just haven't had a chance to do that. How many times are you going to type that in there?
Go ahead, Matt. You
Um,
can do that.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's like 4.
Well, it'll have to. Richard Elliott, he'll have to wait till after the show.
Is he 4'9" or
Because
4'10"?
I'm hosting a watch party on my phone.
Okay.
We got
Yeah.
plenty of people watching today, too, so.
I think media is a dangerous thing, and we gotta like I was reading this morning.
Let's
in-
take
in
it back.
Proverbs, which was the scripture of the day for the day, in the proverb of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instructions in. So it talks about how the mother said to the son, or how the son was instructed to hold on to what his mother taught him, and that was to stay away from bad people who would lay in wait and take advantage of those who are unprepared or not, to mug people and rob people, and to not get drawn in or lured into that by bad people, and it was pretty interesting to me. I think that today media does kind of lure us into an attitude that puts
Thank you,
us
Jackie.
in opposition to people that we wouldn't normally be in opposition to.
Yep. Media
Well,
platforms
Five
can
three.
get they can get really
Troy Johansson,
You
welcome
can
to the
get
party.
really annoyed at media platforms.
Well, here's the thing: it's like instead of looking into it, and for yourself, you're just taking at face value what you're hearing. So if you're not careful, you're going to hear. We all tend to go to the thing that we usually agree with. So you're going to hear all this negativity coming from and believing
Nick
it.
Bell?
So that's the problem.
I think I need to turn her mic up a
I
little
think
bit.
it speaks to also taking it into your own hands.
Pastor
So we
Shelley?
can't count on the government to do everything right and to make everything better.
Yeah.
We can't count on our employer to do everything right and make
Good morning,
everything better.
Pastor
We
Shelley.
can't count on the person on the other side of the counter or, or behind us in line to do everything right and make everything better. We all make mistakes. We all have our bad days. Some of us have bad days every day. And
Depending on where your job's at.
yeah, and taking into our own hands what we have control of is our own personal responsibility and our own personal, to make things better for the world around us, for the people right next to us. And I think that's the best way to go, is to really consider other people more than yourself. It's not easy to do, and I'm not very successful at it, but I try. And I think that when I am successful at it, it actually makes a genuine difference
It does,
in the environment that I'm in.
But our natural sinful inclination
better.
is to it be about ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we fight every day. It's what we die to every day.
Yeah.
Is ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
And when we all fight for our own way, as populations get high and things get more and more complex in the world around us, everybody having their own way is impossible.
Yeah.
It'd be a war of one.
It is
against one,
impossible.
against one.
everybody.
Everybody will be your enemy.
And you can try to please everybody, but you're just going to end up stressing yourself out to the point where you can't even think,
And nobody will be happy.
and nobody would be happy.
Anyways. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, but for the first thing you got to do is you got to work on yourself being happy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hinge your happiness on other people's feelings,
Hmm.
because that's going to be bad. Like if you spend too much time worrying about how other people think of you, you're not going to really think very highly of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think positively about yourself.
It is about positivity, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a short little clip of a video of a whole group of young, starving, impoverished children in Africa. They were all enthusiastic, smiling, jumping up and down, crowding around the camera, just so pleased to be where they were at that very moment.
Yeah.
And it's hard to consider, are they better off than me? They're impoverished way lower. They've got way less opportunity than I have. But yet,
They're
in
happy.
that, at least in that clip, under those circumstances, they were all, as a group, as a community, enthusiastic and happy and excited, full of joy, and it was a short clip, so who knows the real context of it. But a lot of times when I feel, depressed about the circumstances around me, I tend to look at some of those pictures. Like I saw a picture of a kid drinking out of a rut in a road. He was drinking the water
Mud
out of
puddle.
a muddy rut in a road. And he
Morning,
didn't
Cindy
look
Flowers.
unhappy. Why? He
You know, I
found
use
water.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I use that too.
It's perspective.
I don't
It's
know.
when someone
Yeah.
says, "How you doing?" Well, when I think about how rough life can be, I say, somewhere there's somebody who is thanking God for a mud puddle right
Yeah.
now to drink out of.
That's
It may
blows
sound
you away.
gross to us, but it's very well welcoming to that person that's
Yeah.
drinking
You're dying of thirst.
you don't understand what they're going through, and to them it's like an oasis out in the desert. They're looking water, 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 and to us it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Us who have overabundance,
Right.
Which we don't have we don't really have an overabundance. We have enough.
Yeah.
And
Well, in a way we do, though. Like, what's the average lifespan in that community?
Yeah.
The oldest people probably get to be, 65?
I don't know. We'll have to go ask them.
It'd be interesting to know more about that. So, it is perspective. It is a lot about perspective.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can try to, we got to try to find. We have to try to find something positive about every situation.
Mm-hmm. And there is. You just have to search harder for some harder than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might have to
Oh, yeah.
investigate it further just to get the positive, and then it might be easier. It was like
Sometimes you have to go through a lot of manure to find that horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I always go back to that because it's so relevant. You know, whenever
And
they
that's
had the
the
two
first
kids.
time I've heard that particular thing, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so you had a kid with everything, all the toys and stuff locked in one room, and then another kid locked in a room full of horse crap. And they came back, and the little kid in the room full of toys is just laying in the floor crying because he didn't know what a toy he wanted to play with. Oh man, it frustrated him. But they went over to the kid in the room full of horse manure, and he's just shoveling away a big old smile on his face. And they're like, "Why are you smiling?" Well, I figured this much horse crap. There's got to be a horse around here somewhere.
Good point.
Sometimes you got to shovel a lot of manure to find the horse.
Wow, I never
That
heard
needs
that.
to be a bumper sticker.
Boy, that was just a load of
Load of
manure.
crap.
Load of crap, load of manure.
I wonder where the word crap came from.
I don't know.
There's got to be some sort of
That's
origin.
that's cool to investigate.
What's the origin of the
Or
word?
warm.
Yeah.
Warm?
Warm.
Depends on how fresh the crap is that you're investigating.
I mean,
Especially when it's in 95-degree weather.
you know, whenever they,
Okay.
yeah, well, I was
In the
going to
sun.
say whenever
if it's
they,
in the shade, that may, you know.
when they talk about a steaming pile of horse manure in the wintertime, it is like it's steaming.
Oh,
Like
I've
it's-
seen it.
Yeah. So,
How did we get on the subject?
I don't know. It's a pretty crappy subject.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you know what's good? You can even find positive stuff out of horse manure. Look, that stuff has
Really?
got a whole bunch of grass seed in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you
gotta
mow
think-
it out, you let it dry, you mow it, and it spreads out that grass seed. It fertilizes the soil
That's what
that
I
the grass
thought.
is in.
Yeah, that's what fish and manure and don't they say dead
And then the
fish
horses eat the grass that is grown, that is fertilized with their poo. So, I mean, hey, and they seem pretty happy with it.
Boy, did we get educated today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we have horses, so I relate a lot of stuff to horses. Like
So there you go.
being a servant, you know, I relate that to like horses. Horses, by all accounts, they're big enough they could hurt us every time we try to even touch them. They could get away from us
That's true.
very easily. They could throw us off any time. But no, the ones that you that you have an agreement with, essentially, they let you ride their backs. You know, and
Literally.
literally ride their backs. You ride on top of their backs. You know that they let us do that.
Jewel Davis, welcome to the party.
Gardens, Janine says. Gardens. You got to be
Rob
careful
Jubkins.
using horse manure to fertilize gardens because it actually heats up whenever you plant it, and then as it reacts with the soil around it, it actually puts off heat. So, even after. It's
Well, there's your
cooled off.
gardening tip for the week, folks.
Well, you know, that's the circle of life, right?
yeah.
So, how are you guys doing today? How was your weekend?
It was great. I had a Legal Shield convention, virtual Legal Shield convention
Yeah?
out of Charlotte. Well, they didn't go to Charlotte. It was a lot of it was done right there in their home office in their auditorium, but it was great. I learned so much, and it was great. It was a warm weekend, man. Here it is, fall today, and it was like summer the last 2 days. 90 yesterday, and so it was great. I waited for Rachel. I needed to get out. Saturday I was inside the house, but yesterday I got out. It was warm, and I just waited out at the landing for Rachel. But it was great. How about you? I know you.
I worked.
You worked when? This weekend?
Yeah.
I worked last night. Praise and worship was really good at church yesterday. You know, we get there. We're still working out a bunch of bugs at the church as far as like the live stream and stuff like that. But it went really well.
I
felt.
like what you guys do on Wednesday nights. For the live.
Oh yeah,
prayer,
the prayer meeting.
Yeah,
You
Stephanie,
should go and see that live.
I should, but
You just pull in there and it's on the AM
uh,
or FM.
okay, Stephanie, she really enjoys that too. She's watched it, and she really appreciated you guys praying for me that first Sunday that you guys did that. I guess.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what we do. That's one of the things that we do. Love Week is coming up out there. The weekend of the 19th, I think.
Pastor is passionate about reaching people through social media.
And
It's
serving
a big,
others.
It's a big place right
Maybe
now.
that's when Sweetest Day is. It's next
Well,
weekend.
praise Jesus. Britta got baptized yesterday. Janine's daughter, Britta. That's her. That's your. She's the oldest daughter, right?
Yeah. Good morning,
and
Virginia.
I think Abby is the youngest. So Britta getting baptized. That's awesome. Praise Jesus. What did I miss you two?
No, I just said.
No, I'm
I
just half asleep. I'm sorry.
I just
I need
said
coffee,
good morning, Virginia.
excuse me.
We know Virginia.
We got to
and Ed.
find a mug somewhere.
Alright,
I don't know where there's a
You-
mug
we
at.
need to. We need to.
Or a cup.
I need to mug Rachel.
Yeah.
You might have to share your husband's mug.
Ew. Ew.
That's what she said. That's what she said. I heard it.
Wow.
Good luck. I don't know where those coffee cups were that you.
She doesn't. I take it she doesn't like the way you mix your coffee.
No, I'm the one. I like.
She's super. This is sweet. You'd like this.
No, I mean
She likes it super sweet. I mean, I'm talking like maybe that much coffee and that much,
All right.
Yeah.
and that much.
Yeah.
Oh, was he like this right here?
Yeah,
Hey, that's not this
I
much.
gotta remember. I don't know
That much
All of a
coffee.
sudden, Steve.
what.
All of a sudden, it's like, where are you? You've been doing this for how long now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with me?
What is up with you?
What's up with you?
What's up with me?
What's up with you? You know, we got to find some. You know what? You guys talk. I'm gonna go get her a cup of coffee.
Good
I'm
to
gonna,
you.
I'm gonna find her a cup.
So, what do you think so far of being a licensed minister with Acts?
I really appreciate what God has done in my life, and I'm grateful for Jim and Pam and Jim for allowing me to be part of, literally ministry-wise, a part of Acts, but to be licensed, it's an honor, first of all, and I know that God honors, and He's the one that ordains, but it's also good that people
Somebody
are
recognize it.
yeah, and it's good that people recognize you as spreading the gospel, and that's where the licensing come from, because it is a local body that's actually licensing you. And I just think that it's given me a chance to open up and be somebody that I've always wanted to be. But I guess, you don't really need a title
So, like,
in order
nothing-
to
so it's-
minister.
That's what's changed is the title, but your position hasn't really changed,
Right,
Because you're still just doing what you do.
right. The only difference
They
is
just recognize that you do it.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And same with ordination. I mean, God ordained me, but you know what? You're right. It's always what I wanted to do, still want to do, but the state recognizes the ordination where the local body recognizes through the licensing.
Yeah.
And it's good both ways.
What do you want to do as a minister? What do you see as ministry to you?
Well, I think Cindy's watching, but Cindy and I, Flowers, were talking about this yesterday. I want to be able to evangelize and minister the gospel, and we were talking about I'm so diverse, I guess, in drama and skits and things like that. That's how basically I preach illustrative,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes people will read the Bible if they see more of an illustration than you just standing behind a pulpit and pounding it and saying you're going to go to hell, or Jesus loves you. And sometimes people have to see drama, and then there are times when you have to approach people on the street, because that might be the only church that they ever go to. They won't step inside of a building. I'm not saying church, because the people is the church. But I think that if you and God are in tune with each other, and you're asking God for some help, and I think that's where I see myself, as really evangelizing and spreading seeds. Now, the name of my ministry is Sporos, which is Greek for seeds. And if I treat that as dropping seeds, or going in a big field and dropping seeds and planting seeds, I know God's going to water it. I just don't know when He's going to water it, but He's going to water it. But that's my job, is to minister and evangelize and drop seeds throughout the area, whether it's here in Jerusalem, being Springfield or Branson, or the uttermost parts of the earth, which might be, in another country, or in another state.
Yeah. So do you think you were so your childhood was powerfully impressed by the hero stories in the Bible, the stories that you're now telling. So you're evangelizing children.
Children and youth. I mean, youth. You have to, depending on the level, whether it's youth or whether it's children, whether it's adults. You can. I'm able to work on and at their level and preach the gospel or teach kids or teach the youth in the level that they understand or the level that they're going to really get into. Because if you tell a 5-year-old something, but you're at a teenage level, it's like, wait, what's wrong with this? So you gotta remember the audience. You
What
gotta look
stories
at your
do you
audience.
tell?
David and Goliath.
Right.
You know, we're
The hero
facing-
stories.
Yeah, the hero stories, and sometimes I take it from sometimes when we would do puppets, we would probably do it from a standpoint of like say the star in the Bethlehem story. Well, what did the star look at from the star's point of view, or Daniel in the lion's den? You know, taking certain minor characters and taking their ideas and saying, well, this is what happened through my eyes.
Right.
And it just depends on the story. Will depend on how I evangelize, and because I don't want to get too deep with 5-year-olds, but I also don't want to make it so sweet and sappy, I guess, to the teenagers. Whereas, like, come on, I'm not a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I have to really reach that group and be able to. I can be really funny. I can be really to the point and say, okay, teens, this is what God's doing. He's knocking at your door. What are you going to do about it? And for a little kid, it's like, now you know Jesus loves you. But do it in a character like my Captain Bible character or Pappy Steve or something like. It depends on the character and it depends on the group I'm with, because you want to reach the parents and you don't want to. But if it's a family event, like if it's all ages, then I'll kind of mix it up a little bit and make sure that everybody understands, so that it's not too one way or the other. It's in the middle.
Do you think the heroes in the Bible that we look at, do you think that they knew the outcome? I mean, they had faith. They believed that God would. But I remember with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, didn't they say, you know, even if we burn, God is still God?
Right.
It's too sweet for you.
They looked at it from a,
Thank you.
hey guys. Yeah.
Are we gonna have to keep reminding you how to do that? How to?
I don't know
talk
why
on this?
I'm doing that all of a sudden. I was
Thank
doing
you.
pretty good, wasn't I? I was doing pretty good at keeping on the mic, but for some reason, it's not a directional mic.
Yeah. It's not.
It's a one-direction
Yeah,
mic.
yeah.
It's called unidirectional.
I need directions. Is that what he said?
Yes, you need
That's
directions.
Uni. One.
Uni. One. Oh, wasn't that a boy
Un
band?
direction. Billy Burris, Steve Schultz.
Do you think outcome is important?
Yeah, it is. Depending on the story, like you said, we already knew that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, even if they burned, they knew that God was still there and that God would deliver them somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they burned, they
It's
knew
good.
where they were going.
That's one of my favorite stories, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It's really hard to say his name. Abednego.
I think what's interesting about these
All right,
about
who's got a gas problem?
Well, also that wasn't
About
really
this-
a-
Oh, here we go again. We might have a problem, guys, during our show. So
yeah, so now a lot of these stories of our favorite heroes,
Rachel.
none of them were home.
Jim Wanning says,
They were
Rachel is
taken away
drinking out
from
of
home.
my cup. She will now be blessed with greater insight.
ooh, say thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, you
I
know,
could use more insight.
I gotta
helps.
buy some styrofoam cups, some coffee cups for everybody. We had some last week. I don't know where they're at. So,
Cindy just said, I know your audience. And she does.
yeah, it's a beautiful day out there today.
It is a beautiful day.
It's a regular, what I would call a Michigan fall day. Is it warm or what's it like out there? Is it? I know the
Morning,
wind's picked up.
Sisterito.
Humid.
Sisterito, Melinda.
You were gonna say
is
something.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Completely.
This should be insightful considering.
We were talking
yeah.
about the
Yeah, and,
outcome, whether
see,
that's
you got-
really important.
You got Jim's mug, so
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got to have
Oh,
some
yeah.
good insight now.
I think when you're working with different groups of people, you need to know what is really important to bring across. Like for kids, it's mostly, learning about their faith, about I can't even speak.
Don't feel bad.
It's that coffee inside that mug.
She's going to be auctioneering here before long.
Yeah, for it's the level of where they're at. With a child, mostly it's mostly about how does it apply to them, how do they relate it to others. Their faith is important, and as the older you get, you should be able to handle more meat in the Bible.
Oh, more meat. I was like,
yeah.
meat.
Like, what?
Yeah, you want to be a meat-fed Christian instead of a milk-fed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that's if if you grew up, going to church, but I mean, you still eventually that's kind of what you want. You want eventually to go from knowing just the simple things to be able to really delve into the deep things. So what I'm saying. The age is that the older you get, the more you're able to understand the concepts of more complex things. So.
I do need to go and buy more mugs, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, he does, Steve.
You can get them at, well, let's just say it's like if money were to grow on trees, at least $1.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea.
Yeah, the idea. Mm-hmm.
Jay's figuring it out over there.
I got you. You know I did. That's why I said that's a good idea.
That didn't work, did it?
No.
Sure. Anyways, we'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, I see.
It's a secret.
See, you
Man,
got it
how
now.
are you? What? You must speak Silent J.
Hey, we
Wow.
sit next to each other for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not smoke signals. It's just we.
It's not like fart signals, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're that would be bad.
That would be.
We're
Going right back to our story, our discussion about manure earlier.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Steaming pile
Yeah.
horse manure. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole conversation. Just
Did you
went to
ever
crap.
Did you ever throw cow poo? Did you ever chip toss when you were younger?
Only the brown frisbees.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the cow poo.
The-
That's how we entertained ourselves out in the fields and stuff. We didn't have internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have all
were
that.
somewhere that
So
did
you know
that.
what? You go out there, your brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, and you would just pick one up and throw it like a frisbee.
Now,
And hit 'em.
Jim might
They call it chip tossing.
Right. Jim might understand this. A friend of mine had an alpaca in his backyard in the city limits. I mean, it was a regular subdivision in the suburbia part of Michigan, and he had this alpaca. And his brother, Lewis's brother, Nick, decided that he wanted to toss some manure to me and say, "Here, catch."
It
And
was
I
alpaca poo.
Did you catch it?
Yes, unfortunately, I don't know why,
Don't-
but I
Doesn't
did
alpacas like poo in pellets?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying, Jim. You correct me and tell me.
They
but-
sell that as fertilizer on naturalsolutionstore.bz, right?
Yeah, I know. Remember we talked about? Don't they have like in the packets and stuff?
Yeah,
And-
a packet of let me see how many P's I can say. A packet of alpaca poo.
say that 3 times fast.
I'm not even going to try.
A pint-sized packet of alpaca poo.
Okay.
You know what? Cindy can hear the thing up there, and so she goes, "Somebody farting."
No, nobody's frying. That's why Steve and I have been looking at each other and trying kind of like giggling. They're doing more of that stuff upstairs where
We hope we don't see any more things filtering down into the studio.
We're trying to remove
Water,
brick.
which is the opposite of water.
Yeah, taking
Yeah,
out
so-
grout and sealing it up.
So today's topic,
It's
just
gonna
stay
be It's gonna be
positive.
a fun show today.
Try to find something positive in every situation. I know it's almost impossible sometimes, but llama alpaca beans are the best fertilizer. I think they call them something else on naturalsolutionstore.bc,
Yeah.
and it's related to donkey.
Cindy said cow patties and BB gun shooting.
Yeah,
shot-
there's BB gun shooting.
that was fun. That's what she did.
Yeah, but like chip tossing was fun because I threw one like a pie and it stuck to my brother's back. Scott Holland.
Yeah.
Actually, David Holland. He watches all the time. He
Yeah.
probably remembers that because it made him really angry.
Scott, I'm sure I'm sure you got it back. Gave it back to him, right?
No, he couldn't catch me. I knew I was in trouble. So, that being said, now that we've talked a whole bunch of, you know what I was going to say there.
Yeah, I did. That's why I was laughing.
The
The whole conversation just went.
That stunk.
could be worse. Pretty crappy conversation.
Well done.
All
Very
right.
good, Rachel.
Yeah, it was there.
So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the morning drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for Brighter Living Live with Steve Mickey Mactastic and his guests, followed by Sacred Ways with Troy and Belinda Johansson. So, until then, my friend, that's the way it goes.
Oh, yes, that's the way it goes.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's Walter
And I'm not a
Cronkite,
crook.
right? So until then, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
My name is Rachel.
and this has been
The